committed to His holiness. As I hear truth today, I am set free. Let's grow together. God is good all the time. All right.
God is good all the time. You're going to see that firsthand in a story I'm going to share with you today. But first, I wanted to just a quick something. The song today was absolutely beautiful. So thank you to our choir and our music for that song. But there was a line from that song, "We are living in the heart of God." And I don't know about all of you, but I'm going to go home and write that on my fridge so that I can look at it and read it every day. And I thought, I don't know if we have a weekly affirmation or something like that, but that would have been a beautiful one for this week. This is my day, we have a weekly affirmation or something like that. But living in the heart of God, yes we are. And you're going to see that here in my talk today. And I first want to say I am excited to be here. Very excited. And I'm excited for two reasons. One, just because I get the chance to be here and speak and see all of you, and thank you everyone for this incredible opportunity. I'm truly blessed to be able to come here and be able to speak with all of you. But the second reason I'm excited is because I get to tell you about my new toy. I got a new toy. Remember on Christmas morning when you wake up and there's the big tree there and the package underneath and you got to unwrap what your new toy is? Well, my new toy came about 3 weeks ago in a box. It was about 8 feet long and about, 3-4 feet high. It weighed almost 100 pounds. And it does 0 to 20 miles an hour. No kidding, this is true. It does 0 to 20 miles an hour in about 3 seconds. So it's got some get up and go. But my new toy is an electric bike. A mint green electric bike. Now, for those that know me, I am passionate about the outdoors and riding my bike and everything like this. But I'm also passionate about conservation. And so with rising gas prices, everything like that, my vehicle getting up there in mileage, I wanted to do something to kind of mitigate that and offset that. And I discovered the wonderful world of electric bikes. So off and on for almost the past 3 weeks, I've been riding my bike to and from work at the very early hours in the morning. Now, before you say, "Oh, you're crazy riding your bike in the morning," blah, 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 please know I don't ride on the main streets. I ride on the back country roads, which is a whole other story in and of itself. But the reason I share this, telling the story about my new toy, is because of something that obviously I'm getting to the point, something that happened. Now, one of my biggest fears about riding my bike, or sometimes when I'm simply out walking Jackie on the trail or something, is being attacked by a dog. Now, for the first 2 weeks of riding my bike on the back country roads, very early in the morning, not a problem, not an issue. But then, sure enough, about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks now, riding my bike, it's about 5:10 in the morning. It's dark out. I've got my bright luminescent headlight on, which luckily, I'll get to this in a second, I had it turned all the way up. There it was, I heard it. And in that moment, if there's such a saying, I had 9 lives, I used probably 8.5 of them right there. Fear set in immediately, adrenaline, everything. I could not tell with all the different wind and everything sounds. I couldn't tell the direction of the dog. But one, I knew it was close, very close, because I could definitely hear the growl, and it was an attack growl. This isn't a friendly, I love you growl. I didn't know if it was in front of me, behind me, to the left or right, whatever. So, I didn't know what to do. I slammed on my brakes instinctively, and those brakes worked, because physics almost kicked in. I almost went right over the handlebars. But I stopped, I got off the bike, and I looked to the right, it wasn't there. I looked ahead, it wasn't there. And by this time, the barking had stopped. I turned just about a quarter turn on my left like this, and there it was, about 10 feet from me. Now, my adrenaline is in full gear at this point. And I should say, and I've since corrected the situation, I didn't have any safeguards with me. No pepper spray, no stick, nothing like that. In that moment, all I can say is instinct took over. I got back on my bike, and said a quick prayer, treatment. This bike's going to work. It's going to go up to 20 in 2 seconds, and sure enough, it did. And before I knew it, I was out of there. And as far as I know, the dog did not chase me. The whole thing lasted probably about 5 seconds. But the reason I share that story with you is because, as Randy said in his opening invocation, the law is working. The law is always working for you in your life. The law always says yes. Now, before you go, what are you talking about, Brad? Are you telling me that you wanted a dog to attack you? And the answer, I have to be honest, is of course no. None of us want specific certain events that happen in our lives, whatever that event is. But this is where I had to be truthful with myself, and you have to be truthful with yourself in your life. I did want the underlying message, what I call a gift, that the dog brought me. And this is why the law was at work. And for me, in my life, one thing that I have always wanted more of, and there's a saying, there cannot be courage in the absence of fear. And I've always had a hard time in my life dealing with adversity, difficult conversations, even standing up for myself a little bit, even as a child when I was picked on quite a bit. And so that part of me I have kept working to build more and more. And the message that the dog brought that day was this: be tall, be strong, be brave, be sure of who you are. And I got that message loud and clear, because 2 days later, guess what? Ding dong, it almost happened again. I heard the dogs, I spotted them right away this time, but they were behind a fence. But this time I was ready. I was strong, I was tall, I was proud. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I felt confident in myself. I believed in myself in that moment. And it was the message that I got from that showed the law is always working. So in that moment, God was working for me. And that's my point. In that moment of your life, whatever event you have going on, God is always working for you. And so take a quick moment, just do a quick flash to the past of your life. All the events that have happened in your life, last week, last month, last year, and whatever is currently going on in your life right now. Some of these experiences you may not have wanted. You may think, why is this happening to me? But what is the underlying message that these events in the past brought you? What is the underlying message that the event happening in your life right now is bringing you? Maybe, and this is a maybe, like me, you're in need of whatever that message is. Maybe you are in need of what I call the gift. The gift that was brought to you by that particular event. And that is the theme of my talk today, is the hidden gift. The hidden gift within every experience, because I believe that's how God works. God works in little small packages wrapped in a red ribbon or green ribbon, whatever color. I believe there's a hidden gift within every experience. And now this is the tricky part. Not every experience feels good. Not every experience we have in our life is going to put us on cloud nine. Not every experience is easy. Not every experience is, are you ready for this, comfortable. A lot of experiences we have in our life are going to push us outside of our comfort zone. And in some certain situations, especially in my case with the dog, some experiences are downright frightening. As I said, if I had 9 lives on that day, I used 8.5 of them in about 2 seconds. And not every experience, like the dog attacking me, is something that we would consciously choose. But I do believe every experience contains that message meant for you and your growth. Believe me, I am not the same person that I was a week and a half ago before that dog attack. Every experience is meant for growth. It's meant for greater insight. It's meant for you and your possibility of a deeper spiritual awakening. And so the question that I had to look at, that I asked you to look at, and the challenge at the same time become, are you looking and focusing on the actual event itself, what happened, or are you looking for the underlying message that event is gifting me. Because often we get stuck in just simply looking at the event. And we don't look for, and we don't even see the underlying message. But God working through me, I promise you this, that underlying message for you and your life is there every single time. But what form that message will occur in, that I cannot say. I saw the dog, I heard the dog, and I felt the fear. And oftentimes your life will be the same. You will see the problem, you will feel the emotion. Maybe your emotion will be fear or anxiety, as it was for me. You might see the setback. You might see the diagnosis, whatever that is. You might see the divorce. You might feel the disappointment and heartbreak in that moment. We see and feel all of this. But can you see the hidden gift within each and every event that you have? Are you able to see the blessing in disguise? Because to see it requires two things. And I've talked a lot about these two things before. I talked about them this morning. To see that blessing in disguise requires these two things. Faith. It requires trust that everything in life, everything in your life, is unfolding perfectly, exactly as it should, when it should, and how it should. This is my life. This is God's life. This is my life now. Because it is God's life. Ernest Holmes wrote this: there is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. Now notice what Ernest Holmes did not say. He did not say, oh, there's a power for good only when life goes according to plan. How often does that happen? Life goes according to plan. Ernest Holmes did not say there's a power for good only when things are easy. And Ernest Holmes also did not say there is a power for good only when we understand exactly what's happening. How many times do we understand what's happening? The why behind the situation. But no matter what is happening, the power remains. It's still there. It's always there, and it's always working. The law is always working in your favor, in your behalf. And this is true no matter what the event is. I didn't know what that dog was going to do. And when I turned and I made eye contact, my light actually shined in the eyes of the dog. And I remember the dog, it was probably a puppy, about 6 months old. And it was more scared than I was in that moment. And that was my cue, I could get away. But remember, the power is always there. In that moment, I can't explain it, but God knew I would be safe. You will feel that in the heat of the moment. God will protect you. The question is, can we trust what is happening? Can we trust that something greater is unfolding even when we don't understand what that message is? Even when we can't see what that gift is? Can you trust what is happening? To give you another example of this, about a week ago, I ran into an old colleague of mine from the hotel I work at. And I hadn't seen her in about almost 6 months, maybe 7 months. And the last time I saw her 6-7 months ago, I had just gotten to work, and she usually got there about an hour before I did. She was very visibly shaken. She was scared, she was upset, she was hurt, she was frightened. Why? She had just received via text, which is probably not the best way to go about doing this, but she had just received via text the text message nobody wants to get. You're fired, pack up your stuff, get out. Literally like that. Not quite that word.
Oh my gosh.
So as you can imagine, she was fearful. What happens now? What do I do now? Remember, the law is always at work. You might not understand what's going on, but trust the law. It's working in your favor. Jump ahead. 6-7 months later, I had literally, the day before I ran into her, maybe 2 days, saw one of her posts on Facebook. And I remember what she said. She said two things. One, she said, I felt stuck in my old position. And the second thing she says, now is I have a new job. I've never felt more supported, more at peace, more in a loving environment in my entire life. And I asked her about that, and I said, well, how are you feeling now? And this is exactly what she said. She said it was a blessing in disguise. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. That's the law at work. That is the law at work. But again, we don't have to understand what is happening, why in that moment. Just know the law is working. So most of us have had some sort of experience similar to this in our lives. Something happens. We resist it. We fight it. We wish it hadn't happened in that moment. And then months later, like my colleague, or perhaps years later, with other events in my life, we look back and realize that experience changed my life. That experience changed your life. That experience taught me something. That experience taught you something. That experience opened a new door that at the time you didn't even know existed. The blessing was there. It was there all along. Remember, God's got it. There's never a moment, never, no matter what, where God does not have you. My colleague simply couldn't see it. In the immediate moment of being threatened by the dog, I couldn't see it. And if you can't see it in your life, it's okay. It's perfectly okay. We see and understand the message when we're ready to. As long as we remain willing and open to whatever message the universe is bringing us in that moment. Trusting the process, having faith. And again, when I say faith, I'm not talking about blind faith, not pretending that everything is wonderful, not pretending everything is wonderful. I'm talking about spiritual faith. The faith that life is still moving. The faith that the law is working in your life. The faith that God is still present. The faith that there is meaning even when there is frightening, even when there is uncertainty. The faith that there is wisdom even when you have questions. The faith that there is a gift even when you haven't unwrapped it yet. So one of the great spiritual practices is learning to ask a different question. So we've often heard the question, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? But what if you asked instead, what is the hidden message within all of this? What is the hidden gift within this experience? But just for a moment, I want to back up and talk a little bit more about this idea of faith and what Science of Mind teaches about faith. Because I think a lot of times faith gets misunderstood. A common question people often ask, what is faith? And so first let me say what faith is not. Faith is not pretending that everything is okay. Faith doesn't mean that we understand everything that's happening. And faith doesn't mean that we enjoy every experience. Science of Mind, according to Science of Mind, faith means trusting that God is present even when we don't yet understand the experience. That is faith. Faith means trusting God even when we don't see the hidden gift within the experience. Faith just means believing there is a hidden gift within every experience. And Ernest Holmes said this, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. And one more principle very quickly before I begin to wrap this up from Science of Mind that I believe is very applicable to this situation, to my I call it almost being attacked. And that is this. Life itself is neutral. Life is neutral. Events are simply events. What gives the event meaning and purpose is how you think about the event. The consciousness that you bring to that event. The dog wasn't the blessing. The dog wasn't the problem. The dog became the blessing in disguise because it gave me an opportunity to grow and remember who I needed to become in the face of adversity, in the face of fear. It gave me an invitation to grow. It gives you an invitation to grow. It gave me an invitation to prepare. So the event itself didn't determine what happened. The gift I discovered from it did. And maybe that's true for all of us. So in your life, in everyone's life, every experience places two gifts in front of you. The first gift is the experience itself. And the second gift is the message within, providing you the opportunity to grow and choose who you become because of that experience. So, as I begin to wrap this up for today in closing, as you sit there, I want you to just take a quick moment, go ahead, close your eyes, and look back on some of the things that have happened in your life. A quick life review. Maybe some of them look like setbacks. Maybe some of them look like failures. Maybe some of them look like detours or uncertainty. Maybe they look like a barking dog on a dark country road at 5 in the morning. Hopefully not, but you never know. Ask yourself, what was the gift? What was the blessing in disguise? Can you see it? Can you feel it? And if you can, great. But if you can't, then that's okay too. As a spiritual seeker on the spiritual path, we're all here still growing, still learning. But know this, each and every event carries a hidden gift for you. A message of one sort or another. So again, the question isn't, why is this happening to me? But maybe the question is, what's the hidden gift within this? Remember, faith is believing that God is always present, always in all ways. And trust is living your life not as though that is true, but knowing that is true. And so it is.
And so it is.
And just to add on to that story, I have some spots in our preparation. I do want to be prepared. I'm not saying don't be prepared.